Did Brian Schottenheimer just quietly reveal the future of the Dallas Cowboys? Reports suggest the 2026 draft plan may already be taking shape, but it's not what most fans were expecting. While many believe Dallas will focus on flashy offensive weapons, there's growing talk that the real priority could be building a dominant physical defense instead. Some see this as a smart, long-term strategy. Others think it ignores immediate needs around Dak Prescott.
So what's the actual plan? And which positions are secretly at the top of their board? Because one unexpected draft move could completely reshape the Cowboys' future. Something big is quietly brewing in Dallas. And if you think you already know what the Cowboys are planning for the 2026 NFL Draft, you might want to think again, because the latest signals coming out of the building suggest that Brian Schottenheimer could be preparing to reshape this roster in a way nobody saw coming, and it could change everything about the future of this team. Now, here's where things get interesting. For weeks, there's been speculation about what direction the Cowboys might go in the draft. Most fans assumed it would be the usual. Add depth, grab a flashy offensive weapon, maybe patch up a defensive hole. But insiders are starting to connect the dots, and the pattern that's emerging points to something much bigger, a full identity shift. Let's start with what Schottenheimer has been hinting at publicly. If you've been paying close attention to his recent interviews, you'll notice a recurring theme: balance, physicality, and control. That's not just coach speak. That's a blueprint. And when a coach keeps repeating the same philosophy over and over again, it usually means the front office is aligning with it behind the scenes. And that brings us to the draft. The Cowboys are reportedly targeting players who fit a very specific mold: tough, versatile, and scheme-flexible athletes who can dominate at the line of scrimmage. This isn't about chasing highlight reels anymore. This is about building a team that can impose its will on opponents, especially in high-pressure playoff situations where finesse often fails. Now, think about the current roster. There are talented pieces, no doubt, but there have been clear moments, especially in big games, where the Cowboys have been outmatched physically. That's something Schottenheimer appears determined to fix, and the draft is the perfect place to start. One of the biggest rumors gaining traction right now is that Dallas could prioritize the offensive line much earlier than expected, not just adding depth, but potentially grabbing a cornerstone piece in the first round. That might not sound exciting on the surface, but if you understand what this offense could become, it's actually a massive move. Because if the Cowboys commit to building a dominant offensive line, it changes everything. It gives the quarterback more time, it unlocks the run game, and it allows the offense to control the pace of the game instead of constantly reacting. That's the kind of shift that turns good teams into championship contenders. But it doesn't stop there. There's also growing buzz that Dallas is eyeing defensive reinforcements, specifically players who can create chaos in the trenches. Edge rushers, interior disruptors, guys who don't just fill gaps but completely collapse them. And if you pair that kind of defensive aggression with a more physical offensive approach, you're looking at a completely different Cowboys team in 2026. And here's the twist that nobody is talking about enough. There's a strong possibility that the Cowboys could make a surprise move at a skill position, but not in the way you think. Instead of going after a flashy, high-profile name, they might target an under-the-radar player who fits perfectly into Schottenheimer's system, someone who might not dominate headlines on draft night, but becomes a key piece of the puzzle over time. That's how smart teams operate. They don't just draft talent, they draft fit.
Now let's talk strategy.
Another layer to this draft plan involves flexibility. Don't be shocked if the Cowboys make aggressive moves on draft day, trading up to secure a specific player or even trading down to accumulate more picks. This front office knows that hitting on multiple selections can be more valuable than one big splash. And based on what we're hearing, they've been doing extensive scouting on mid-round prospects. That's usually a sign that a team is confident in its ability to develop talent, not just rely on top-tier picks. If that's the case, Dallas could come out of this draft with several impact players, not just one or two.
But let's be real for a second.
All of this sounds great in theory. The real question is whether the Cowboys will actually follow through. Because if there's one thing fans have learned over the years, it's that expectations don't always match reality when it comes to this team. However, this time feels different.
There's a sense of urgency, a sense that the window to compete at the highest level is still open, but not for long. And when you combine that urgency with a clear vision from the coaching staff, it creates the perfect conditions for a bold, decisive draft strategy.
And make no mistake, this could be one of the most important drafts in recent Cowboys history.
If they get it right, they could lay the foundation for sustained success over the next several years. If they get it wrong, it could set them back in a major way. So what should fans be watching for?
Keep an eye on the early picks. If the Cowboys go heavy in the trenches right out of the gate, that's a clear sign they're fully committing to this new identity. Watch for unexpected names, players who might not be on every mock draft but fit the system perfectly. And pay attention to trades, because those could reveal just how aggressive this front office is willing to be.
At the end of the day, this isn't just about adding players. It's about defining what the Dallas Cowboys are going to be moving forward.
Are they going to continue chasing big plays and flashy moments? Or are they finally ready to build a team that can dominate in the moments that matter most?
Brian Schottenheimer seems to have made his choice.
Now it's up to the organization to back it up.
And if the rumors are true, the 2026 NFL Draft could be the turning point that Cowboys fans have been waiting for. But here's the real question. Are you ready for a completely different Dallas Cowboys team? Because if this plan unfolds the way it's starting to look, you might not even recognize them by the time next season kicks off.